Yeah, so I got disconnected again. I think I know the issue. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see how that works out. So I just wanted to go ahead and finish off what I was saying because I think it's pretty essential, and that is certain things that are necessities, goods and services for society, should be run by the government. And those would be healthcare, obviously, the prison system, obviously, the school system, obviously, and the energy, not the complete energy industry, but the distribution and to some degree the exploration should be run by the government. When you don't have that, what you have in a capitalist system is industry collusion. Also, telecommunications. So basically, the basic necessities should be under government control. And this is why, for instance, if you take a look at America, think about it. America invented the internet. Yet, the internet connectivity is not that good in America. Why is that? Because it's run under for-profit companies. And you have basically you had a duopoly for a while. Now with T-Mobile, it's gained a lot more strength and prominence. They merged with the Sprint and got all their bandwidth and all the, it's kind of a triopoly now. You don't have a whole lot of competition. 10 years ago and before that, let's say even 20 years ago, when wired connections were more relevant, you had a duopoly, AT&T and Verizon. So you don't have much of a choice. If you compare the internet speeds and quality in America to other countries that have that are run by government sponsored, right, government supported internet, then you're going to have a much better, generally speaking, quality and lower cost. That's just fact. Okay? That's fact. The amounts of money that Americans are paying for, and this also goes, with mobile phone as well, same thing. The amounts of money Americans are paying, they're getting so fucking ripped off. Why? Because the telecommunications delivery this is essential. It's a utility and should not be in the private markets. This should be run by the government. It's fact. There's a similar situation for the airlines industry. Okay? And you can see, of course, year after year, there's decreasing competition more and more. And, of course, the healthcare system. Healthcare system, right? Think about it. For profit? No. Bad system. It's terrible. Okay? Energy. Let's say your power, right? There's no reason why there should be publicly traded companies that are delivering oil and gas and gasoline. Oil exploration is a little bit different. There's a lot of risk involved there, and there should be a place for the private markets in oil exploration. Okay, but in terms of having, a lot of countries, the gasoline stations are run by the government. Okay, developing countries. Okay, should not be in the private markets. This is all basic necessities, right? Shouldn't do that. This is why Americans pay very high prices for a lot of these things, is because the private markets are involved, and the service, the quality, in many cases is not as good, or at least you're having to pay a whole lot more for the same quality of service. Now, the only thing would be in the healthcare, of course, America, as costly as healthcare is, there's so many problems in U.S. healthcare. But when you're talking about top level care, America is the best. The problem is that most people don't require, ICU. They don't require advanced research-based therapies, right? Most Americans require more basic care that's accessible and affordable, especially when it comes to chronic disease, right? And this is where America's healthcare system really fails. But that's where the money is. So the private system is designed to bilk the customer. It's a very screwed up situation. There's no doubt about that. So the problem in America is that Americans have been led to believe that the government is bad. Get the government out of the way. You're going to have a better system if it's free market. And that's just not true. And matter of fact, I did a video a while back on the case of Boeing. Can you imagine if Boeing should be run by the government. These military companies, Lockheed Martin, Boeing especially, because Boeing provides the airplanes. Okay? Can you imagine what you'd be hearing from all these libertarian nutcase fraudsters out there and all these other people if Boeing were a government-run company from these crashes, this complete fucking failure of Boeing? If you all may have noticed, there's construction. Can you hear that? There's construction going on. So, can you imagine? But no, Boeing is a private company, right? The failure of capitalism. What happened to Boeing? They focused on profits over people. And this is what often happens when a system of capitalism has run out of control. It's a problem with healthcare as well. You're not going to hear this, folks. You're not going to hear this. It's going to get no coverage, low coverage. They don't want people to understand how things work. The Europeans, they're still, if you compare to America, they're still under more of a socialist system, but that's all disappearing by the year. You go back 20, 30 years ago, and sure, they had more of a socialist system, but of course, the term socialism has got a bad name in America. The media, and it's funny because these media people, they're the ones kind of historically behind socialist policies, right, if you look around. But people in America typically equate socialism with communism, and actually they're not. They're very different economic systems. Okay, very different. People seem to think that a communist country, by the way, communism, you're provided with a lot of free services, and that's just not true, by the way. It's not true. Okay? Socialism is whereby you're provided with services that are funded by tax dollars. And year after year, the social universal health care in Europe, Australia, and many other programs are gradually dying. They're becoming more like the U.S. And it's not good. It's bad. It's very bad. You're not going to hear this, of course. Folks, this is why I was banned, okay? Long time ago. You've got a criminal mafia running the West, the Western world. They're running everything. Open your fucking eyes and you can see it. They're running it all, and they have been for a long time. Okay? From the politicians to the central banks to the media, the whole financial system, most of the industries, take a look at the big players there and think about it. I mean, folks, if you run the financial system, you're going to run the trade and commerce, the industry. Because guess what? You run the financial system, and you can give your buddies the best financing. And when your buddies have the best financing, they can put the competition out of business. You got it? That's why it's best, if you want to avoid this mafia, is to go to countries that don't have a Western presence in the banking. Unfortunately, you're only buying time, because it's inevitable that they're going to penetrate and expand all over the world, the developing world as well. In fact, it's funny because I saw something. I didn't watch it, but I ran across a documentary on ScamTube, something I was probably one of the few people that knew, and now finally they've done a documentary on it. I haven't seen it once again, but it was on the high debt, consumer debt in Thailand. I've known about this for 8-9 years because I saw it, and I've been talking about it off and on for several years. Virtually, probably no one else in the world noticed this. I saw 8-9 years ago in very, very middle-class malls that only, low-income Thai people would be going to. They would have 0% financing for cars. When I saw that, I was shocked. I'm like, holy shit, what is going on? And I also noticed, I said, you know what? This tells me that Thailand has actually, they're now dealing with Western banking system. Okay? There's no doubt about it. You all are getting this firsthand. No one else has talked about this. And no one else probably knows this even now, even so many years. When you're seeing consumer finance that's very aggressive, that cannot exist in these closed banking systems. It's impossible. That can only exist if those banking systems, and the banking systems of Asia are very closed, by the way, generally speaking, especially Southeast Asia. That type of consumer finance is only possible if they're linked to the Western financial system. Why? Think about it. If you're giving all your citizens 0% financing, and you're not talking about an advanced country, this is Thailand, okay? When you're doing that, if you have a recession, what do you think is going to happen to the banking system? It's going to completely collapse. So what's happening, it's clear to me, and it was clear to me 8 years ago, is that the Thailand banking system, which, if you deal with it, if you look at it, you're going to think it's completely closed. It's very difficult to take money out, of course, like all these countries, the developing countries. It's easy as fuck to bring money in, but taking money out, it can be very challenging. The reason why I know that the Thailand banking system is linked to the West is because through asset-backed securities. That's how these loans are made. There's no way the Thai banking system can support crazy financing like what they've been doing for several years. What's happening is they're selling these loans. These loans are all securitized. I wrote about this 20 years ago when I also discussed mortgage-backed securities, right? How the mortgages were securitized in a formal process, and they're sold in private markets, available only to institutional investors. So they're sold, these asset-backed securities. Everything is securitized, from alimony payments, okay, all consumer loans, debts, credit card payments, alimony payments, car payments, they're all securitized. And then what that basically means is they go through a process whereby they're analyzed and they're provided a credit rating so that it can be sold to institutional investors, namely pension plans on private markets. I wrote about this 20 fucking years ago. Nobody else knew about all this shit. This is what caused the financial crisis, by the way. The leveraging of these mortgage-backed securities. Okay. which people still today don't even know what the fuck caused it. They're talking, oh, real estate's so high. Is it because there's another bubble? It's going to be a financial crisis. No, dumbass. It was massive fucking leverage through derivatives linked to mortgage-backed securities and other types of debt instruments, exotic derivatives. Anyway. So that's what's going on. You see? And they're selling this garbage to Western pension plans. Just like the same thing, who do you think bought the dollar-denominated bonds from Evergrande in China? I think there was like $20 billion that went to zero, a U.S. dollar. I mean, who do you think bought that? That was Western pension plans. Who do you think sold it to them? Our friends on Wall Street that now have they own their own subsidiaries in China. They were granted that the first ever, unprecedented, because they're doing a good job for the CCP. They're floating out worthless debt to Western pension plans. Our Wall Street friends, you understand what's going on. Folks, are you starting to see why a guy like me would be seen as dangerous to the criminals that are running everything? Because I know too much. I knew too much 20 years ago, and I know a whole hell of a lot more today. Okay? This is what's going on. Wall Street doesn't care. When you have aliens that have invaded your country, no matter where you are, and they don't really care about your country, they just care to siphon money and assets off of your country. They don't have a loyalty. This is the problem. And this is the problem we face with this mafia. They don't have a loyalty. Everywhere they go, they set up shop in the same way. And by the way, there's a nice little collection of this tribe in Manila, Philippines as well, in case you didn't know that. I forgot the name. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Okay? And they're selling worthless debt from China to Western pension plans. And guess who's running those pension plans? Their friends. Oh. Okay, yeah, sure. You understand. It's not their money. Why aren't you hearing this, folks? I've got the facts. You see? This is what should be being discussed. But instead, what do you hear? You're going to hear a bunch of fucking horse shit. Oh, BlackRock, they control the whole stock market and State Street because they... From fraudsters out there who are promoted. Like this James O'Keefe, complete fucking scammer, fraudster, disinfo idiot. Folks, it's the same song and dance. Why do you think Alex Jones was promoted? Same reason why Joe Rogan's promoted. Once again, you're never going to hear someone that's honest, incredible, an expert. They're not going to be promoted. They're going to be banned. They're going to get no exposure. The people that get the most exposure are the fucking disinfo guys. That's the way it works. That's how they're controlling people. And I just don't understand how people don't realize that. They're this fucking stupid. They're like children. You people out there who are listening to Tucker Carlson, you think he's legit. And you're listening to Elon Musk and Donald Trump, you think they're legit. And Bernie Sanders and Ron Paul, you think they're legit. You're like fucking children. You have the mind of fucking children. Your mind is like kids. You dumb fucking idiots. You line up to vote thinking that it matters. It doesn't fucking matter, you dumbass. What matters is to make you think that you have a choice so that you line up and support that scam system instead of tearing it the fuck down. The people are so stupid, they actually protest. They go to the Capitol Hill because they think that the election was stolen from Trump. This is what I'm talking about. This is how stupid people are, especially Americans. Americans are the most naive, brainwashed people in the world. Yeah. More so than the Chinese. Why? Because the Chinese are brainwashed because they don't know. Yeah, they've been told a lot of stuff, but Americans have access to everything. Yet, they still don't have a clue what's going on. They think that they know. They really think that they know. Let me tell you Americans something. You're fucking stupid. You're goddamn fucking stupid. I know the deal. I've told the deal. You're voting, it's a waste of time. It doesn't matter. And if you think it does because you think Trump is going to close the borders, okay. How come you can't afford health care? How come the criminals on Wall Street aren't going to jail? And they're raping everybody on every single fucking trade called payment for order flow, which I exposed many years ago before anybody had a fucking clue what it was. Oh, of course you don't know because you're too unsophisticated to understand how it's fucking you. I could go on and on and on. I mean, the most obvious thing that people kind of see now a little bit is the trade issue. They still don't even understand fully, and Trump's not going to tell them. No one from the White House is going to truly tell them what I've told you guys. Every time Intel, Microsoft, Apple, you name it, opens a facility overseas, it's taxpayer fraud. It's not just sending your jobs overseas, which is going to decrease your living standards and decrease your access to health care because, of course, if you don't have a job in America, you're probably not going to have health care unless you got a lot of money. We're talking even a layer deeper, and that's taxpayer fraud. Okay? This is what should be talked about. But of course, people are just, they're fucking stupid. They become fucking, folks, this is what the internet has done. The internet has made people stupid. They all have Dunning-Kruger. They think that they're experts and they're fucking incompetent bozos. It's a sad reality. You're talking about, we're talking here about 99% of the population. 99% of the population, maybe even higher, is in this predicament. And part of that 1%, by the way, are the people that are running the show, that know what's going on, that are fucking you. Okay? I'm not even counting them. So imagine how many people of that 1% really kind of has an idea what's going on. Not many. Not many. And many of that 1% that does know what's going on, they're on the side of the disinfo scammers, of the establishment. Okay? That's the reality. Very few people in the world truly understand what's going on. To me, it's obvious. I mean, I've lived it for 20 fucking years. I see clearly what's going on. It's just too obvious. Some people see little portions here and there, and they see what they're directed to see, right? What the gatekeeper has shown them. If you don't see the whole picture, you don't fucking see. You're blind. If you're focusing on, because think about it, what do people see now? Oh, they see that the border's a problem in the West. Okay, yeah, that's true, but you're not being told the whole picture. Why are you focusing on that? Because they want you to focus on that. They don't want you to focus on everything. You understand? That's the problem. That's the problem that we face. That's why I got the fuck out. I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to fucking... Matter of fact, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we have here. Spend a day with me, folks. Spend a day with... Here's a typical day for me. Nice afternoon tea. Nice sky bar at the Hilton. Overlooking
mini banh mi.
Yeah. Meanwhile, many of you fuckers are sitting around having arguments online, spending all your time arguing with people about identity politics and this and that, and you're spending the rest of your time listening to pinheads and gatekeepers, filling your mind with bullshit, and you think you know what's going on. And then you go into work every day, this and that. You understand. You guys, our forefathers would be disgusted, turning in their graves at Americans, how they've completely abandoned the country and allowed it to be taken over by aliens and fucking just thrown away, thrown in the garbage can. I don't have to deal with it. I'm enjoying my life, folks. I mean, take a look. I'm enjoying my life. This is my life right here. Got the fuck out. Don't have to deal with all that bullshit. I did what I could do. I tried. I tried to warn people. I tried to help people. And you saw what happened to me. It's the scammers. The fraudsters. They're rewarded. They're celebrated. People like me, marginalized, defamed, ignored. So, I live my life. All right. That's right. That's right. That's a nice little look at my life there. Okay. So, let's get to the news part here. Let's get to the news. Nice little intermission there, right? And so take a look here. Founders of black-owned brands adapt their hopes and business plans for a post-DEI era. So think about this now. So this is interesting. I never thought about this. Apparently there were black-owned brands that were on the gravy train of the DEI. I'm a black person. I've got a business. Support me. Right? What the fuck? You see, so apparently all these companies were doing business with DEI companies just for the purpose of doing business with them. And now people are starting to wake up, come to their senses, and realize this whole DEI horse shit is discriminatory and it's just nonsense. Of course, folks, this whole DEI horse shit it was building up to this for decades, many decades, and of course the same people behind all these things that are causing problems for all these countries around the world, they were behind this. They started off opening the borders legally, Immigration Act of 1965. And then, of course, they install even more politicians. And then you got Bill Clinton, as I talked about before, big paradigm shift. You know, the affirmative action laws before him, of course. You know, it's amazing. The civil rights movement, the 60s, that was for equal rights, and that it kind of morphed into kind of discrimination. It's very strange how, you know, the civil rights movement was about equal rights, and then kind of like, okay, we got our equal rights now. You guys that gave us the equal rights, now we're going to discriminate against you. Now we get most of the rights. You guys get discriminated against, and that's what's happened in America, and that's part of this DEI. And of course, you know, the group behind all this, you know, they use their influence, their power. They have all their puppet politicians, and they use their power in the media to brainwash people, not just through news, you know, selected coverage of news. They're always going to show you. They're never going to show you when there's a, you know, they don't want to show you if it's a minority person on a crime. They don't want to talk about it, right? But they're going to talk about when there's a white person, right? And of course, Hollywood, the displacement that's been going on in Hollywood. And then, you know, why do you think the music scene got turned upside down 20, 30 years ago? Rap and hip hop took over. Do you think that's music? Anyone out there that thinks rap and hip hop is music, I'd like to tell you, you don't have any type of aptitude in music. And I do. I had scholarships, many prestigious universities for music, by the way. Okay? If you take a look at what rap and hip hop, the message it sends, then you can see why it's been promoted into society. And you know who's behind all that. In fact, it's funny because I haven't looked into it, but I've kind of noticed over the years, you know, more of these rappers, the black rappers in hip hop, they're coming out after, and you'll even find some of them saying, "Hey, this is bullshit. You know, this is destroying society. Our society. We don't want this. We're not they're making us look like idiots. Some of them saying, this is, So it's all a Hollywood act, folks. This is all. When you think about this DEI, there's a lot of things that went into this. It's many decades of work by this group is determined to weaken society in all the countries which they have invaded. And once again, it's for the purpose of controlling more and defrauding people without any real consequences. And that's what we see in America today. You can see these criminals, they rarely go to jail, right? They rarely go to jail. Nothing really happens to them. I mean, take a look at Elon Musk, for instance. This is a man who's responsible for the deaths of dozens of people. He's got blood on his hands, as do every CEO, every large corporation in America. These CEOs have blood on their fucking hands. Okay? I can assure you that. Elon Musk could be facing a criminal indictment because of his full self-driving scam, which he marketed. He made all these claims to boost the share price of Tesla. I mean, think about it for a second. He hasn't even been charged with fraud. So, of course, he's not going to stand trial. Think about it. Too big to jail. Right? It's amazing. It's fucking amazing. This construction going to end. So, let's take a look at the next one here. Yeah, this is interesting, actually. I didn't realize this, but the Shake Shack. Shake Shack is a fucking DEI company. DEI restaurant. Now, it might be interesting to note who the guy that's behind Shake Shack. Take a close look at who he is. Okay? You understand who the people are who are behind all this stuff, folks. It's pretty fucking obvious. Anybody of any credibility out there in the world who wants to debate me on this stuff, let's go on a neutral fucking platform. Just have it advanced. Because I'm going to spend the time to give you all the names. All the names of all the people. All the names. It's all out there. Okay? And, of course, the whole crypto scam. GameStop. Another fucking bullshit company. Just like Michael Saylor, the fraud. You know, it's amazing to me. Michael Saylor, people line up to interview him. They want to hear what he has to say. Ask yourself, have you ever asked yourself why? Why that might be the case? Say, well, think about it. This is a guy he's a tax cheat. He's a fraud. He's a tax cheat. He's a known fraudster. You know that, right? He's a crook. Why would anyone want to listen to a tax cheat? And this is what you have with these crypto people. They are people who are intent on not paying taxes. Oh, yeah, that's good. I don't want to pay tax. Okay, so you're going to get stuff for free? You're going to get public services for free? No. No. $40 million tax settlement with the IRS. Michael said, and he was bragging to people in D.C. how they're fucking idiots for not doing what he was doing, cheating the government. You should do what I'm doing, you stupid idiots. Claim you're not a resident here. Claim you're a resident in Florida and cheat the government. And the media wants to interview him. They don't scrutinize him. Why, folks? Because think about what Michael Saylor, his message is. His message is to perpetrate this narrative of Bitcoin, how it's so great. Who do you think is running the cryptocurrency, folks? I talked about this. I wrote about it many years ago. The same guys running Wall Street are running crypto. You understand why no one's coming out and talking about the fraud? Cryptocurrency is a fucking scam. I warned about it goddamn more than 10 years ago. Okay? You're talking about a system that's responsible for human sex trafficking, ransomware, all this shit is using cryptocurrency. Okay? So think about that. The media is not criticizing Michael Saylor. The media is not coming out and constantly telling people about cryptocurrency fueling human sex trafficking, fueling murders for hire, drug trafficking, right? They're not doing that. Of course, the media was out there pumping Sam Bankman-Fried, right? And the media still lines up to interview the frauds, Mark Cuban and Kevin O'Leary. You know, the guys are all related. You got it, right? You understand what's going on. They're protected by their buddies. They're great. They're geniuses. Mark Cuban teamed up with Voyager Digital, threw his fucking fans under the bus, right? Got his fans, promoted the Voyager Digital, got his fans to sign up to that horse shit. That's why he sold his part stake in the Mavericks. He fucked up that brand so bad he wants to kind of duck out of the scene. But he's constantly blabbering, oh, Mark, what's an investment? Mark Cuban's a fucking idiot. You can tell a goddamn guy has said so. He's a drunk. He's an investment and business fucking idiot. Write it the fuck down. But the media, they act like nothing happened. They act like he didn't fuck his Dallas Mavericks fans. Same thing with Kevin O'Leary. Teamed up with FTX, whoring that shit out. Teamed up with Sam Bankman-Fried, business partners. Media keeps interviewing Kevin O'Leary, the fraud, as if he's some fucking genius. The guy's an idiot. He's a scammer. He didn't have a fucking pot to piss in until he got involved in the media. Promoted this fake perception, sell his media celebrity status, form all these bullshit companies. You got it? That's the whole business model our friendly media buddies engage in. God, this fucking construction, unbelievable. So, that's it, folks. That's what's going on. Think about it. So GameStop now, another useless company. Okay? Another useless company, just like Michael Saylor. It's like, this is what you do if you have a useless fucking company that doesn't do shit. You try and become relevant by buying Bitcoin. I mean, I don't even understand how this is even legal, by the way. I don't understand it. And then you have Boeing. None of these motherfuckers have gone to jail, and they won't. Muhlenberg, the CEO responsible for those two 737 MAX crashes a few years ago. That motherfucker. He leaves the company with tens of millions of dollars after being responsible for the deaths of 346 people. And he's still not in jail. Because his name is Muhlenberg. You got it? Boom. Boom, motherfucking boom. Wake up, people. You understand. Wake the fuck up. Take your country back. Take your system back from the alien mafia parasites. And then you got Robinhood. Another fucking scam company run by another fucking scammer. Another mafioso guy. Getting kids involved in gambling. Now, this is the company, by the way, I warned people about several years ago. In fact, I mean, I'm the one that tipped the SEC off. Remember, they're selling order flow. They didn't even disclose it. Folks, all these trading apps are selling order flow. by the way. You understand what that means? That means you're getting fucked on every single trade. You're sending money to parasites. You're sending them your money. That's why Ken Griffin, the money-worshipping parasite crook at Citadel, is buying up all this ridiculous fucking art at $50 million a piece and dinosaur bones and shit. $200 million condos in New York. Where do you think he's getting the money? Why do you think this is being permitted? It's fraud. Because who's doing it? Ask yourself, who's engaging in it? Take a close look at who these people are. And then ask yourself, who are the watchdogs? Who are the regulators? Take a close look at who they are. You got it? It's the same deal with the hedge funds. How are hedge funds defrauding everybody? And I'm talking everybody in terms of the pension plans. The hedge fund industry is one big fucking scam. If anybody knows, I know. I've advised the hedge funds. It's a huge fucking scam. And guess what? We'll say, well, if it's a scam, well, how are they making money? How are investors investing? Because the vast majority of investors who have their money with hedge funds don't even know they have their money with hedge funds, a.k.a. pension plans. You understand? There's a discretionary authority over these pension plans. They're supposed to make good decisions. They're responsible for the pensions of these retirees, soon-to-be retirees, right? And guess what? Those guys are buddies with the hedge fund managers. You understand how the system works, folks? You got it? I mean, the hedge fund industry is a complete fucking scam. Same thing is going on with the private equity industry with these retirement plans. I mean, this is it's been going on for a long time. Anyway, so now you got Robinhood, which was bad enough. You know, their app is designed to addict people to gamble. It's specifically designed for that, which is illegal. Robinhood is involved in Joe Camel types of activities. It's illegal. Of course, you know, you keep doing it, pay a little fine here and there, keep going. Because, you know, same thing with Airbnb and Uber, you know, scams, illegal, but they have the right name. They know the right people. You understand? Neither you nor I could run those scams. We wouldn't even think about those scams. It takes a certain type of creature to think about how you're going to create an illegal company and get away with it. Something is wrong with people who have this type of mentality. Something is wrong with them. And so now they're involved in sports betting, getting kids involved with this shit. And then we've got the genetic testing fucking scam. And you all know, let's get this here. This is the sister of the former YouTube CEO who was married to the Google founder, Sergey Brin. You understand, folks? You see how everything is connected? You got it? Just like if you take a close look at Lex Friedman's guests, take a look at Joe Rogan's guests, you understand what I'm saying? So on and so forth. You see what's going on? You're not allowed. You're not allowed in the game. No. You're not allowed. You understand? You're not allowed to get any exposure. You're not allowed to play the game. You're not allowed. You think I could open a bank with my expertise? Think about it. Could I open a little bank? Right? No. Because you got to go through regulators, and they got to approve you. And I don't have the right name. You understand? I don't have the right connections. You understand? You start to see how things work now in America, the Democratic capitalist country. And now you wonder, some of you out there, well, most of you are too fucking ignorant to know what's going on. And, it's only the older people that have a chance, that have been around, have seen things. You wonder why you lost that job. You wonder why things were much better in your life 30 years ago. You had a better income. You wonder why you're looking now, things are bad. It's a lot of things, folks. A lot of things perpetrated by the mafia that's completely taken control of America. They've had control for a long time, but it's gone overboard now. Whether it's the trade issue, the siphoning off of millions of jobs, and not just your job, but your retirement and your health care. You understand? That's going overseas. That's going over to some people in China and Brazil and Malaysia. They've got your jobs now. Compliments of your tax dollars, by the way. The tax dollars that you paid to train, to educate the Americans who built these companies, who brought technology to these companies, whether it's Microsoft or Nvidia or Apple. You understand, the people that created those innovations, they were, by and large, vast majority, I'd have to believe 98%, 99%, were educated in American universities. And all American universities receive tax dollars to some extent, depending upon whether it's public or private, right? And they also receive state and federal contracts, which are paid for by tax dollars. You understand what I'm saying? Those companies that were built off the backs of Americans who were educated in American universities, which are partially funded by tax dollars, your money, those companies sent their factories overseas to create jobs for foreigners with your tax money. Think about that. This has been going on for decades, and Americans didn't fucking see it. Because Americans only see what they're told, what they're shown. That's why you got piece of shit, fraudster, scumbag, neocon, garbage collectors like Sean Hannity and all these other motherfuckers in the media come out and spew a bunch of nonsense and bullshit. You understand? And the only time that anybody ever points out an ounce of truth out there is when it's convenient for them and they're trying to gain political clout. But they're not going to tell you the full truth. For instance, Bernie Sanders, who I've mentioned before. Yeah, he talks a good game, right? Minimum wage needs to go higher. This is the same guy who wants open borders. He wants to tell you to raise minimum wage so he can get that Democrat vote. He can get that vote. But guess what? The reason why minimum wage doesn't go higher is because the borders are fucking open, being flooded, invaded by desperate people willing to work for peanuts. That keeps minimum wages down. You got it? How come he's not going to tell you that? Because he's a fraud. You got it, folks? This is what I'm saying. If they're not telling you the full truth, the full story, they're lying. Don't be fooled. No politician is ever going to be able to win an election if they're truly on the side of the people. It's just a fact. So you got this lady, the CEO, she resigned. What's her name? Wujishuku. I don't know. What is her name? I mean, you can tell like by her name. You know what her background is just from looking at the name, right? You all do know that, right? Let's see if it says it here. Where's the lady? Anyway, she's the sister of the former Google YouTube CEO, right? And this is a company, of course. Think about it. Was backed by Google, Sergey Brin, the criminal piece of shit. You know, Google's a criminal company. You all know that, right? They're taking your data and selling it and causing problems for you, causing identity theft, and helping to create the police state in America, right? Well, this is another phase of that, getting your DNA data and making it available, by the way, to police departments. You all know that, right? 23andMe, that's right. You want to get your DNA and do a search for your roots. Well, guess what? Police departments can access that DNA. And maybe you're going to be responsible for one of your relatives going to jail because they don't need to get the DNA of you to prove that your cousin committed a crime. I'm sorry. They don't need to get the DNA of your cousin to prove you committed a crime. They can get your DNA and they can prove it. And that's exactly what the police have been doing. Was disclosure provided? And, you know, people say, well, what does it matter, Mike? You know, these people are criminals. They should go to jail. First of all, don't assume that because you don't know what's going on with the testing, right? How accurate is the testing? Second of all, it has nothing to do with whether or not, say the testing is absolutely accurate. And because, you know, even if the testing is completely accurate, when you're going down and you're doing a profile looking at haplotypes from, you know, distant relatives and so forth, it becomes less accurate. But let's assume it's all 100% accurate. Folks, we're talking about disclosure here. Were people informed? We're talking about proper disclosure versus non-disclosure for the benefit of exploiting people. That's what we're talking about. It's a matter of principle here. Okay? So, thank God this company went bankrupt. Now there's a big fight going on. Who's got access to your DNA? Folks, this is a goddamn lesson. Don't trust nobody. If you trust anybody with your data, you're a fucking dumbass. I've been saying this for years. I warned about Facebook before it became a publicly traded company. I warned about it. Not only did I warn what it was going to do, I warned it was a pump and dump. Goldman Sachs created the Facebook pump and dump. I wrote about it. I explained in detail what was going on. And guess what? It was a pump and dump. Facebook collapsed by more than 40% within, I think, 2 months after going public. 40% collapse. It's a pump and dump. Right? You trust anybody with your data, you're a fucking idiot. You're a goddamn idiot. You probably thought Ty Lopez was going to make you millions, right? Don't ever trust. And what I'm saying by that, I mean, this is the most obvious lesson here. Don't send your fucking DNA to nobody. No. You fucking stupid. Somebody's got your DNA. You understand they can frame you for any fucking crime anywhere in the world? Do you realize that? You can be framed now for any crime anywhere in the world. Same thing with scam book, especially in these countries that have very strict laws on speech. I told people in some of these countries, I said, "Oh, you've got Facebook, huh? Well, how about if somebody hacks into your Facebook account because they don't like you? And if you think Facebook can't be hacked, you're a fucking idiot. It's hacked every day. They hack into your Facebook, and they write some bad things about the government. Guess what? You're going to jail. Directly to jail. You can't pass go. You don't collect $200. You're going to fucking jail. You say, oh, I didn't do it. You think these governments are going to go by that? You're going to jail. You understand that, right? If you live in Singapore, Singapore, the place that so many people have told you is a great place, a great country. It's got this freedom. It's an amazing country. You think so? Well, let's see what happens to you when you go trash the government in Singapore. You're going to fucking jail. You got it? How about Thailand? You're going to jail. You got it? How about Vietnam? You're going to jail. China? Jail. Philippines? I don't know. Maybe jail. It just depends. Maybe. You're sure going to get in some trouble. Developing countries, folks, you trash the government, you're going to get in trouble. If you have social media, anybody can get your account hacked, and you can trash the government. They'll trash the government on your account. You're in trouble. That's how stupid people are fucking. People still don't even realize this. They're fucking this stupid. Okay. You're using a free email? You're stupid. You're giving away your data. Expect to have identity theft. Okay? Using Gmail, using Hotmail. Your data is, you all do understand that Google never deletes its cookies. You do understand, of course, that any email that you receive and send through a Gmail account, you can never delete. You can delete it, but Google has it. You know this, right? You all do know this? Are you aware of this? I mean, I've known this for 15 years. If you all don't know this 15 years later, Jesus Christ. Okay? So this is an example. This 23andMe scam is a great example now of how you can get fucked. Because now you've got people in limbo who they don't know if they can get their DNA scrubbed. Because the assets now, and the main asset of this company is the data. Folks, this company, this Wojciechowski, whatever her fucking name is, that was the plan from the beginning. Get your data. Get the data. It's all about selling the data. Okay? Ad-based content. Same thing. Data. The whole idea was to get your fucking data. This company was valued based upon the data. Now, the assets have been seized. They're in bankruptcy protection. People may have a difficult time getting their DNA information deleted. And that's very scary. Okay? Just read it for yourself. Because people out there acted with fucking stupidity. They weren't intelligent. Wojciechowski. Fucking idiot. Here we go. Dubai's billion-dollar crypto underworld. Yeah, Dubai is definitely where all the crypto scammers are now. If you want to run a crypto scam, go to Dubai. Dubai, UAE, it's a scam center, folks. Complete fucking scam center. Here we go, Elon Musk. I think he's got 14 kids now, maybe. 13, they're saying here. So Elon Musk, the fraud, this guy is not only a fraud and a criminal, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, he there's no doubt he's got the blood of more than 40 people on his hands. You all know that, right? This is a fact. Why he's not being indicted, I don't know. But this is a guy who, not only all this, but he's not happy with his, I don't know, I guess the stock price is not, he's not worth $400 million now. Maybe it's just billion. Just $300 billion. But it's not enough for him. He wants his $54 billion compensation package. He wants it. He's going to keep fighting for it. You've got some type of serious sociopath, lunatic, who has already essentially stolen $300 billion through fraud and through murder and through scamming and through manipulation. And that's not enough for him. He wants to fight for more. Another example of the crisis in capitalism. But then you've got this guy, of course, he's got all these fucking kids with all these wives. Why do you think he always talks about, go out and make children? We need to have more children. Right? Because he's an irresponsible fucking parent who doesn't want to pay child support. He just goes out. What a fucking loser. Think about it. Does he get called out? No. No. What a piece of trash. Elon Musk is becoming more and more of a piece of trash by the day. And of course, the stock has been getting killed, bounced recently because of the backlash now. All these liberal fuckheads who bought their Teslas on the whole dream of green, right? Tesla was going to save the world from the imminent climate change disaster, right? That was what was told to everybody, right? Which, once again, I've been saying this for years now. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't see any solar fucking panels attached to Teslas. Teslas aren't saving nobody. They're defrauding people. They're defrauding taxpayers. And any other country besides the U.S., it's got tax subsidies tied to electric vehicles, because those electric vehicles, not only are the batteries charged with electricity that comes from the combustion of fossil fuels, but the energy expenditure required to produce these lithium batteries is not efficient. And how are you going to dispose of those batteries? You understand. One huge fucking scam. So these libertards who thought Elon Musk was on their side, Elon Musk flip-flop from Mr. Liberal Snowflake to a right-wing MAGA guy when he realized that Biden, followed by Harris, wasn't going to win. He realized Trump was going to win. So all of a sudden, he starts supporting the MAGA dream, right? And everything that goes with that. And all the libertards are all pissed off now. So they've been going out, trashing Tesla dealerships, right? Making all types of statements, this, that. Big backlash against Tesla. So Elon Musk now is telling everybody to hold on to their stock. Because, of course, you know, why not? If Elon Musk is telling you hold on to the stock, he's got something up his sleeve. He's going to use his Twitter scam to promote more nonsense, you know, pump up the shares, make more false claims, you know, work with Donald Trump, get more things passed to help Tesla, right? I mean, I can't even believe what's going on in Washington now is, it's like the corruption is at the level of communism, what you see in communism. It's that bad. I can't even believe it. Take a look. Tesla Autopilot Desk 54. This is a good site here. TeslaDeaths.com. There you go. Take a look, folks. All the detail here. All the crashes. And then what do we have here? Jeff Bezos and his fucking bimbo. Look at this fucking tramp. I've talked about this before many times, folks. You have Jeff Bezos, who I think he was a decent guy. He was a decent guy once upon a time, decades ago. He had a great life. He lived a dream. He had an idea. He got lucky, worked hard. He was at the right place at the right time, namely the dot-com bubble. Opened up Amazon out of his garage. You know, his wife was loyal, helped him, supported him in that dream. Built a wonderful family, 25 years. Beautiful, intelligent wife, not this tramp. 3 kids. And then what happens? Folks, it's the problem with capitalism. There's no brakes. There's no brakes to capitalism. More earnings growth, more profit, more money. Forget the impact on society. Forget the impact on my family. Forget this. It's money. That's what happened to Bezos. Slowly but surely, Amazon became Scamazon. Bezos gradually stepped to the side and got more involved with his social life, his personal life. He wanted to de-nerdify himself. Started taking growth hormone, steroids, and he meets the bimbo. Who, by the way, take a look at her name, Lauren Sanchez. Well, a little homework assignment. You might want to look up that surname and the history of that surname, because it's not exactly what you think it is. Looks like Latino to me, right? Well, take a close look, and I think you're going to see something very interesting. Let's just say that Miss Sanchez and Mr. Bezos are going to, they're related. Let's say they're related, okay? Of course, Jeff Bezos was adopted, right? But, so Jeff Bezos, money got to him, the power got to him, he cheated on his wife, destroyed his... Folks, Jeff Bezos had the perfect life. He won. And he fucked up. He lost. He failed. Jeff Bezos failed at life. He destroyed his family. His kids are scarred emotionally, mentally forever because of this. Look what happened to him. And now he's with this fucking tramp. This Botox, plastic surgery fucking bimbo. Jeff Bezos, another guy who made his money off of the backs of taxpayers, of course. Not as much as Elon Musk. And folks, it's not just that. I mean, you have to understand. Amazon, when it was primarily an e-commerce company, and of course it's not primarily an e-commerce company today in terms of its relevance and its profits and how it operates. It's just kind of using the e-commerce kind of indirectly as a portal. But, you know, in its earlier days, it was pretty much a pure e-commerce company. Well, think about it for a second. They didn't pay taxes for a long time. And they didn't impose taxes on their customers. That's fraud. That cheating gave them an edge. And over time, it accumulated, and that's why you're seeing the gradual destruction of brick and mortar. Notably, although they had many issues as well, but notably, certainly part of the problem Walgreens faced was the long-term impact of e-commerce not playing by the same rules. It's kind of like the trade issue, right? Well, guess what? Jeff Bezos made a lot of money through unfair business activities. And it got to the point where they became so strong that it was routine for Amazon, whenever they wanted to expand, open another facility, they would go to the city councils all over the country and say, okay, what kind of deal are you going to give us? This is after they had, they were forced to pay taxes. They were forced to charge taxes. They'd say, what kind of deal are you going to give us? What kind of tax exclusion are you going to give us for how many years? And city councils were lining up for that deal, doing whatever they needed to do to get Amazon. You know why? Because jobs were far and few in America. Because so many jobs had been sent overseas. Folks, I wrote about this 20 years ago in my book, how city councils were lining up they were lining up for jobs from China. They were lining up for jobs from China. They would go to China and try and recruit Chinese companies to bring facilities to the U.S. So that's what you have, folks. That's what you have. And the problem today, this generation that is lazy and unintelligent, doesn't want to work, they feel entitled. The problem is that whenever someone scams somebody, they think they're smart. The person, they weren't scamming, they're hustling. Hustle means scam, by the way. And you parents out there, you're part of the fucking problem. You're a big part of the problem because you let your kids think this way. You let your kids come into contact with swindlers, with kingpin swindlers that promote this idea. And then promote these schemes like Robert Kiyosaki, like Tony Robbins. Ultimately, it's the parents' fault. The parents, and in general, the baby boomers of America, complete failures. You all have failed. You have fucked up. You all are complete losers. The baby boomers, you allowed all this shit to happen. You all were old enough, should have been wise enough to see what was going on to your country for decades. Whether it's the discrimination against white people, favoring minorities. It's been going on for a long time. The open borders, the outsourcing, or the healthcare scam. You did nothing. You sat by and did nothing because you didn't think it was affecting you. Well, guess what? Your kids are fucked now. Your kids are fucked. Okay? That's the reality. The baby boomers completely fucked up. Baby boomers are responsible for everything that's happened to America. They're supposed to be wiser. They're supposed to protect the young people, especially their children. They didn't do anything. They sat by and let it all happen. And you parents out there, you let your kids be subjected to all this disinformation by all these fucking airhead idiot losers. From Joe Rogan, who promotes bullshit, conspiracies, all this nonsense leads people to all these fraudsters. Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Robert Kiyosaki, Tony Robbins, Susie Orman. You parents, you failed. You completely fucked up. You're failures. You didn't come out and protest and say, why is Robert Kiyosaki not being criticized by the media? Why is the media promoting this fraud? Who's telling my children that college is a scam? The teachers are fake. They shouldn't get an education. Same thing with Patrick Bet-David. You parents are fucking disgusting. Disgust me. At the end of the day, everything you see that's happened in the West, especially in America, I speak for America because that's my country and I know what's going on specifically. Everything you people see out there, you complain, you don't like, it's your fault because you did nothing. You know what? At least I did something. I did my part. I tried to wake people up. I educated people. I was banned. You guys sat around, you did nothing. And you think that you're doing something by supporting Donald Trump. You think you did something by rioting at Capitol Hill. Fucking stupid, man. The only person that I think's done anything recently, let's say over the past several years anyway, is a young man by the name of Luigi. Okay? That's all I've got to say.